Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here, and this is not a Deltarune video. I'm sorry, comic book folk of YouTube. When I get excited about something, I get excited, and I kind of like get lost for a while. So this is another episode of Shonen versus Shojo, the joke series where they don't necessarily have to be Shonen or Shojo, but maybe that's what they are. And I just want to briefly talk about comics I'm reading. So. Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto was a lot of fun, and it's a good illustration of having a meta joke beyond just silly random happenstance. So what I like about Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto by Nami Sano is the premise of it is, what if a guy in your class was literally a Mary Sue and had not just was Mary Sue-ish in his personality, but was literally like a magical Mary Sue and won all the time, and everything worked out great for him. Well, all the girls would dig him, and all the guys would hate his guts. And the illustration is kind of like pretty boyish, which is why I guess I'm counting this as my Shonen Shojo. Yeah, of course Naruto is a shonen. So I'm counting this as a shojo, even though I'm not sure if it's a gag manga or a shojo or what it is, but I thought I'd just flip through it a little bit. So one of the things that's interesting about Sakamoto is to make his character work, his presentation is a big part of who he is, because he kind of projects this fabulous, everything's elegant, everything's beautiful, everything's like really Kota Bushido and, hyper Japanese masculine stoic about him. So when he comes in and catches the chalk duster before it falls on his head, because all the guys hate his guts, then it's not just enough for him to catch it and look cool. He's got to look cool and fabulous while he does it. And I really like how each of these is a variation of a theme. So the theme is always Sakamoto is kind of a Mary Sue and always wins and is always super cool. But then they'll have other characters who interact with Sakamoto, who go on a journey and are inspired to greatness by his absolute Japanese, over-the-top masculine energy, right? And then they'll do silly things like he'll work at McDoodle's, which is like McDonald's, and even when he's in a McDoodle's outfit, he looks fabulous, and he inspires people to work hard and take pride in themselves. I like the themes of it. So like this poor chubby guy who he inspires, at first, the chubby guy asks him to protect him from the bullies, and Sakamoto says, "No, I won't do that." And then he teaches him the value of appreciating your own money and having a good work ethic. And then at the end, the chubby guy learns, well, it's not about just fighting for my money or fighting for because I'm scared. It's about fighting for my pride, right? So the guy learns a lesson, and Sakamoto helps him learn that. So it's a lot of fun. There's a few goofy scenes, but generally it's got this sort of slick, not super weebish anime vibe. I'd call it more like a pretty vibe. It reminds me of old Japanese prints with the pretty actor boy in it. And then Naruto, I mean, what's there to say about Naruto? This was the hit anime manga for a while. How many theory videos have been done about it? So just briefly, I'll say, if you haven't had a chance to visit the Naruto manga after seeing the anime, I'd say give the manga a shot, because I was into the anime for a while. I gave up somewhere around the fourth Great Ninja War or whatever. I just got bored, but I really enjoyed visiting the manga. I feel like it's a tighter paced read to flip through it than to sit through episode after episode after episode, plus all the filler. And there were some really, inspiring moments, like getting to hear Kishimoto talk about, how happy he was to get to do this project. And, what's amazing is now looking at it with hindsight, that this would become a big hit, international success. But for him, this was just a comic project. And he's got sort of a rough, simple style, he's still working on it. And one of the other impressions I had is that Naruto kind of comes off annoying in the anime, but the first couple volumes of Naruto are a really strong character arc, maybe even stronger than My Hero Academia, which I praised as one of the best superhero stories of origin stories of all time that I've ever read, where Deku's origin story is a lot more interesting than a lot of Western superheroes' origin stories. Naruto, I think, has the advantage of having an origin story which foreshadows his growth. So even though he's annoying, the point is he's annoying because he's an immature person who's gradually becoming a mature person. And you see that in the first couple volumes, but that's only the first step in his long journey of becoming a more and more mature person. And so when he finally becomes that, and he finally earns the thing that he's been hungry for, you feel so good for him. For me, the Naruto's story and his character arc kind kind of ends after he beats Pain and the village recognizes him as a hero. To me, that felt like, yes, he got everything he was fighting for. So despite like me not finishing Naruto, I've always wanted to revisit it and actually finish it, and I think I'd rather do it in manga format rather than anime format, so I can see some of the little, bits and pieces that got changed and left out, so I don't have to sit through all the silly filler arcs. And also, there was this consistent theme of every person Naruto met. This was one of the annoying jokes about it for a while, is that everyone Naruto met would either be just like Naruto or just like Sasuke. But in this first couple of volumes, what's interesting about it is they have character traits that overlap with Naruto, but they're not just like Naruto. So, this kid has such a long name. Konohamaru. Konohamaru has an inferiority complex, just like Naruto. He wants to become Hokage, just like Naruto. So they have that overlap, but they're clearly two different people. And then Naruto's relationship kind of goes from being a teacher, big brother figure to being a rival. And for Naruto, this is important because he's found someone who recognizes him as a worthy opponent. It's great stuff. If you haven't given the Naruto manga a chance, I'd say go back to it and give it a chance. I marked this because there are just so many good moments that are memorable. Like if you just summed up what the story is, it sounds like an interesting story, right? Like he loves Sakura, but Sakura loves Sasuke, so Naruto gets this idea that he'll disguise himself as Sasuke, right? And then there are all these cool head fakes where you think that's Naruto being a jerk, but then you find out, oh, that's not what it is. It's just great. I love the raw enthusiasm of this. And okay, the rule of the character always has to look cool. So the whole point of their fight with Kakashi is that Kakashi is much more experienced than they are, much more capable than they are, and they're like idiots next to him. But even Naruto, the idiot, the dunce of the class, has a moment where he comes off really cool in this fight, where you get the feeling that he can become an awesome ninja, and he can think strategically despite his kind of being... What's his problem is that he's the worst ninja ever. He just charges right into battle without a plan, and he keeps learning his lesson the hard way in these early volumes. And I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the anime years ago. I think it kind of hit me at the right point where I was, that like the story of loneliness really spoke to me, and I really identified with Naruto, and I was rooting for him. And I think the manga trims the fat that the anime has. So I think I'm going to continue reading that one. So yeah, these had absolutely nothing to do with one another, but haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto for your fabulous pretty boys doing hilarious stuff? Genuinely hilarious. I laughed a lot. And yeah, give Naruto another chance if you haven't yet. So I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. We're keeping it under 10 minutes for these videos. I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.